to touch upon this topic, that changing the sampling rate. So till now we have understood about the sampling theory, or basically how do we sample the signal, what to remember when sampling. Now, it is not always possible in uh, practical system that we always operate upon Fs. Sometimes we operate upon something lesser than Fs, which is known as downsampling. Sometimes we operate much greater than Fs, which is known as upsampling. Okay, so I'll just first try to motivate us that why do we need multi-rate sampling. So by multi-rate, I mean that uh, hey Abhinav, who just joined, we have finished one part, but yeah, I'm recording the session, so you can see the recording. Yeah. So yeah, we can also work on different sampling rates. So multi-rate processing finds use in signal processing system where various subsystems with different sample or clock rates needs to be interfaced together. For example, let's say we have two digital system. So this is working on a sampling frequency of FS1. It is interfacing with some another digital system. It is working on a sampling frequency of FS2. So to interface them properly so that they can work together properly, we should match the sampling frequencies. So I should multiply with a factor in FS1 so that it becomes equals to FS2. Yeah. So downsampling, also known as decimation, you might have heard in literature, is used to reduce computational overhead of system. I think Nishant already pointed out this point that if we want to reduce the number of operations. So for example, an algorithm requires k operations to be completed first per cycle. By reducing the sampling rate of a signal or system by a factor of m, the number of operations will actually reduce by a factor of m. And yeah, with this, we need not to introduce aliasing. So we should be ensured that by reducing the sampling rate, if we do not want aliasing, then by reducing sampling rate, aliasing should not happen. And let's say if the receiver is operating at a much slower rate than the transmitter. So if the receiver is operating at much slower rate than transmitter, then there are two ways to do it to achieve this. First, use a digital to analog converter, convert the signal to analog signal, then resample the signal, and then sample it again. But this needs obviously more computation, more power, more circuitry. Another way is to digital resample. By digital resample, just convert FS1 to FS2. So this was for the downsampling or decimation. What about upsampling? Upsampling in general, any interface of, again, if you want to interface some lower sampling system to higher sampling system, then we need upsampling. Okay, so to just simply put out this point. Another way, if we need more resolution. So this actually, we will also understand further that in frequency domain, when we do the DFT or FFT, the number of spacing in consecutive frequency samples, this is actually inversely proportional to n, or it is proportional to 1 by n, where n actually depends on my sampling frequency. Okay, because we are sampling a continuous time domain signal. So if these samples are much closer to each other, it is much closer to my continuous time signal. So if my n is higher, they will be more close to each other, and it will be more accurate. Or n is higher means sampling frequency is higher. So to get more, if we need more resolution or if we need more accuracy, then we usually upsample our signal. Okay. Yeah. Now, just to understand a bit of mathematics on this, I have put some equations that how downsampling and upsampling looks like. So assume that my initial signal is xn, and just plotted. This is my xn. and the samples numbers will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So for downsampling, the formula is this. Okay, so let's take one example. Let's assume that m is equals to 2. So in that case, with this formula, 0 will be 0. Next sample will be chosen, this one. So let's say A, B, C, D. Let's name them. So first one will be A, second one will be B, second one will be C, third one will be E, and so on. So by alternating, we will choose the samples. We are discarding B, D, and so on. Another important point that, if this is an n, this axis is n, let's put it this as n prime. This sample number will not be 2. This will actually be 1. This will actually be 2. Okay, because now our n prime is n into n. I hope this is clear. Now, regarding upsampling, we will insert some zeros in between the consecutive samples of the original signal. So again, take an example for this. So this will be A, this will be B, 1, it will be 0, 3, again I am taking L is equals to 2, 3 it will be 0, 4 it will be C, 4, 5 it will be 0, and so on. This is my upsampling. This is my downsampling. Okay. So in practical system, we usually do not leave zeros here. We interpolate them. So by interpolation, we mean that we, based on the nearest sample, we put some values here. So the simplest one is like a linear interpolation. So let's put this as a plus b by 2. So this is just approximation that if the sample is there, then how may it looks like. So there are several types of interpolation in literature and in practical systems: linear interpolation, cubic interpolation, and so on. Okay. So upsampling with interpolation. Any doubts still here? Okay. So now, similar to this, how downsampling looks in frequency domain first. So we said that this particular, let's first plot a normal signal. And let's assume that this is ranging from -pi to pi. So there will be some others, the same replicas. Now I'm saying that where downsampling is, so downsampling means my fs prime, which is the downsampled frequency, will be fs by m. Okay. So how it will be reflected in x omega? Maybe something like this. This will be omega prime will be f by fs, fs by m will come in numerator. Fine. So whatever is at pi will shift to m into pi. Whatever is at minus pi will shift to minus m pi. Clear? Okay. And similarly, other signals. Sorry, other copies. Okay. Now you may have one question, that here my signal is going beyond -pi to pi, and it is equivalent to having aliasing. So the thing to remember when doing downsampling, that before doing the downsampling, I should pass this through a low pass filter with the cutoff frequency equivalent to pi by m. Yeah, minus pi by m to plus pi by m. So if I do this before doing the downsampling, this will be equivalent to and so on. Similarly, other spectrums. And after downsampling, it will only range exactly this. It will be something like this. Minus pi plus pi and so on. So it will not do. Again, we are reaching to the same point. We are actually not eliminating aliasing perfectly, but we are minimizing it. So yeah, main point here to remember to understand are that how we are scaling the frequency axis. If this point is clear to you, you can quickly understand this. And because this is actually introducing aliasing, it may introduce aliasing. We should first pass it through a low pass filter. This is, I think, already also known as decimation filter. Okay, I'll just quickly go on to the impact of aliasing, sorry, upsampling in frequency domain. Then we can take up some questions if we have. Again, let's draw the same signal. Upsample it by a factor of 2, or let's say not 2. Let's put it as L. So in that case, omega prime. So here my Fs prime will be L into Fs. This is upsampling. So this is increasing the sampling frequency. So this will be F by L into Fs into 2 pi. So this means whatever is at pi will come to pi by 2 or pi by L. Whatever is at minus pi will come to minus pi by L. So, and similarly others. So here we can actually see that upsampling is actually shrinking my spectrum, while downsampling is expanding my spectrum. Okay, so upsampling is actually shrinking my information. And you may have one question that in this domain, my frequencies are ranging from minus pi to pi, while in this case, my frequencies are ranging from minus pi by 2 to pi by L. So aren't I losing some information? Does anyone have this doubt? Because the frequency range has changed. So is the information also changed, or did we lost any information? Does anyone have this doubt? Or everyone is clear that we are not losing any information?
I'm not clear. Okay.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, I am also not clear.
Okay. Yeah. So this actually brings us that in what domain or in what axis we are actually visualizing my signal. So this is actually the same signal. There is no change. They are actually representing the same information. We are not losing any information here. It is just the way I'm plotting my signal, because now the normalization factor has been changed. So that's why the values of the x-axis of my signal change. So no, we are not losing any information. It is just the way, or just the domain, basically the way I'm plotting my x-axis, or the way I'm using my x-axis is determining the shape of the signal. Does this answer your question?
Yep.
Awesome.
One, like, why we are just transforming to normalized axis and like we can do everything on frequency axis also. Why we are like transforming it to omega?
It is the why we are transmitting. Okay. So you are saying why we are transmitting it to omega.
Yep, like changing domains. Like
Okay.
why we do practical.
Instead of, okay, you are saying that instead of why we are not only focusing on f, why we are coming to omega.
Yep.
To see the impact of fs. Okay,
Yep.
I'll come to this. So we said that we have sampled our signal with sampling frequency fs. After sampling, I'm denoting my my spectrum is actually repeating. So I must have some mechanism to capture the impact of fs. And with the help of this omega, where I am taking the normalized frequencies, I am capturing the impact of fs. So this is the reason that we are shifting our gear to omega.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So Pulkit, this is something like we have the analog frequency and digital frequency, right?
Awesome. Exactly.
The conversion
Right.
of that.
Exactly. Okay. So if there are no more questions, I think we can end today's session.
Sir, hello.
Yeah. Yes, Kiran.
Sir, suppose if you want to do sampling for ECG signal, like it was a non-stationary signal, sir. Then, then is Fourier transform available or not? In that case.
Okay. Can anyone from audience are aware of this? Is aware of this answer?
Yeah, can you repeat the question?
Because Fourier transform is applicable for stationary signals, right? So if you want to do processing for non-stationary signal, like any ECG signal or speech signal, then what kind of transforms we use? Like
We
I mean to say.
use short time Fourier transform, I guess, for speech, where we actually consist of a restricted number of samples from the time domain and then take the Fourier transform of those samples. So it's like a short-term Fourier transform that actually deals with it.
Thank you.